Saya present dulu dalam masa 20 ataupun 30 minit. Kemudian kita bukalah untuk perbincangan. Mungkin sedikit pengenalan bagi diri saya. Okey, saya ni sekarang ni tak ada kerja kan, tapi lamalah sebagai seorang usahawan dalam bidang teknologi dan pernah menjadi pegawai khas kepada menteri dan seperti mana disebut oleh tuan moderator, pernah jadi sekejap CEO untuk SSM. Tapi setelah maknanya zaman COVID tu I reset myself as a data science researcher and a global technology investor. Jadi bila tadi saudara Johari flash slide tentang saham turun, amat terkesanlah bagi diri saya kan. I suffer a lot of paper losses, but I am deep inside the world economy. But as always, I'm a continuous student of Islam. So these are the books I have written. Some I use the name of my good friend Dr. Tariq, like I wrote the whole book of the series of Prophet, but I use his name because it was based on his series of lectures. Dan ada yang saya tulis sendiri dan dalam pelbagai bidang lah, bidang kepimpinan, cuba mentafsirkan apa yang dimaksudkan dengan rahmatan lil alamin. But my latest book is on the understanding the Quran from a holistic point of view. Okay, so apa yang kita nak buat, kita kata this is what I learned in the last few years, that look at the data, okay? Then maybe you have a better picture when you look at the data lah. Okay, bila kita melihat data, clearly that isu Ukraine, US, China, Azerbaijan gerbak-gerbuk only indirect impact to Malaysia. Dia tak ada direct impact to Malaysia. Jadi pertama sekali kalau kita tengok trade, ada gambar di sebelah kiri itu on the trade, kita ni insignificant lah trade kita dengan Ukraine, insignificant dalam pelbagai makna bahan, insignificant. Kita import daripada dia pun tak banyak, kita export daripada Ukraine pun tak banyak. So we are not directly impacted by Ukraine. We also don't send our soldiers to Ukraine, so kita pun tak ada kena-mengena dengan tenaga peperangan. Kita juga tak hantar kapal terbang ke, sebab tak boleh nak hantar kan, kapal terbang kita tak boleh nak terbang kan. Nak hantar kapal pun tak ada. Nak hantar submarine boleh submerge tapi tak boleh naik. So we cannot send our equipment to Ukraine. Then of course nobody from Ukraine migrate to Malaysia. Mungkin adalah seorang dua kan, kita tak tahu kan, tapi tak ada. So we are not directly impacted. Kita mengalami apa yang disebut dalam ekonomi as a ripple effect. Okay, ripple effect, kita terpengaruh kan. One of the major ripple effect of the crisis in Ukraine, and then the whatever we see mentioned is the volatility in two things, supply and price. And this is kita kena separate the two things. There's a volatility in the supply chain, okay, of oil, of gas, of some special minerals, yeah, and this affect the supply chain of semiconductor industry. And semiconductor industry, when you affect semiconductor industry, technically you affect so many things kan. Kemudian juga harga kan, kita tengok mana harga minyak naik dan kemudian ada yang turun. So we feel the ripple effects of the war in Ukraine and the crisis between US and China and so on and so forth. So the clear ripple effect is supply chain. Ada barang yang tak sampai, ada barang yang kita tak boleh nak dapat. Kedua, kalau kita dapat pun barang meningkat. Kemudian ketiga, in general, a major thing is inflation. Dan semalam, minggu lepas, harga US dia naikkan dia punya interest rate 75 basis point 3 hari saham merudum. Tapi saya nak sebut satu perkara yang saya akan sebut 2-3 kali lah dalam penyampaian ni kan. These times are the best times for you to do something if you have not started. These times are also the worst times for you if you are deep into something. So ada dua. Maknanya katalah kalau kita ni belum bermula sebagai seorang usahawan, these are the best time to start as an entrepreneur. Tapi kalau kita deep sebagai usahawan, this is probably the most difficult time that we would see. Okay? So we face the ripple effects, as I akan mention perkara ni, which I think is very important untuk Malaysian economy dan particularly usahawan di Malaysia dan business person in Malaysia. These are the most difficult times if you are deep into something. These are the best times if you want to start something. Okay. So, saya continue. Malangnya ataupun apa yang realnya adalah Ukraine, kemudian supply chain issues, dan now kita lihat inflation, semua berlaku setelah COVID. Dan COVID itu juga telah maknanya menyediakan kita untuk very important to change to a new normal. Banyak perkara-perkara yang kita buat, umpamanya sekarang ni kita Zoom meeting kan, sekarang ni ada yang Zoom ataupun yang hybrid. Dulu kita tak fikirlah, kita tak fikir nak Zoom dan kita fikir nak hybrid, kita buat face-to-face meeting. These are real things, these are real changes that happen. Okay? Jadi dia memberikan kita
recording in progress.
Jadi dia memberikan kita suatu peluang. Apa peluang dia? Break from the past. Okay. See, the last point is COVID, the Ukraine crisis, and I will show you other crises give us an opportunity to break away from the past. Yeah. And write the next growth curve. Yeah. Siapa yang berlaku adalah apabila ada krisis selalu diikuti oleh suatu apa yang dikatakan dalam business strategy ni as your next S curve, your next growth curve. Okay. After World War I, there was the next S curve. Siapa yang jadi hero after World War I? There were some countries. Siapa yang turun after World War I? Example Turkey, the country collapsed after the World War I. After World War II, Japan collapsed and then they rebuilt themselves. United States became a world power after World War II. Then there was the Vietnam War, there was the Korean War. Now there is COVID and there is Ukraine, and for Malaysia there are many things. For Malaysia not only there is Ukraine, there is COVID, there is something in Malaysia which we call, kita banyaklah. Kan, kita ada pasca COVID, kita akan ada pasca Ukraine, kita ada pasca 1MDB, kita ada pasca Najib masuk penjara, kita ada pasca no longer you will find in Malaysian election majority a party win 2/3. You will not find anymore. Okay. Now kita face real situation. $1, 4.5 Malaysian ringgit. These are real things. Dan ini akan menjadikan, ini akan secara realitinya dia adalah satu perubahan yang nyata dan sebahagiannya you can almost consider kekal lah, is permanent. 2/3 majority, that one permanent. Najib masuk penjara, permanent lah. Okay. And it will take a long time for us to recover from 1MDB. Okay. And I think because of that, the ringgit to US dollar will remain above 4.2 for quite some time. So, ini memberikan kita suatu pilihan. Apa pilihan yang kita boleh buat? Kita boleh merunggut tentang perkara yang lepas. Ataupun kita boleh fokus ke hadapan. Banyak negara yang menghadapi krisis seperti Korea Selatan pilih untuk fokus ke depan, dia maju. Lawannya Korea Utara, dia continue to remain where they were. Today kita lihat apa yang berlaku kepada Korea Utara. Ya. Dan Taiwan decided to move forward, and now it's almost a world superpower in semiconductor. Okay. Saya tahulah sebab saya beli saham a few companies di Taiwan. Okay. So kita ada pilihan sama ada look back ataupun fokus ke hadapan. Okay. Apa dia yang kita belajar daripada Ukraine and bila gajah bergaduh? Yeah. So first lesson you learn from Ukraine adalah United States, kalau dia nak ambil satu daripada dia ambil semalam, dia tak tunggu-tunggu. Yang umpamanya kita lihat SWIFT system, dia shut Russia out of the SWIFT system within 1 day. Yeah. Dan dalam masa seminggu, syarikat-syarikat yang tak ada kena-mengena dengan perang, Starbucks, nothing to do with war, withdraw from Russian market. McDonald, nothing to do with war. You makan McDonald, you menang perang ke, you kalah perang, dia not related lah, not related at all. Okay? But McDonald out of Russia. Okay. Is it good or bad? What the lesson that you learn? If United States, they want to get you out of something, you are out of something yesterday. Dan dia tak kisah. They don't care. Okay? And this is very, very important lesson that we learn from the Ukraine crisis that was echoed by many of the economists during COVID. Masa COVID, I spent a good time to understand, to learn from the economists. What are they saying? What are they saying? Yeah? Muhammad Al-Aryan, top economist in the world. Saya kalau dia bagi talk tu, dia ada seminar ke webinar ke, memang saya join, saya baca, kan? Pemenang-pemenang Nobel Prize. So I really need to understand. And they have one common word. Okay, dia ada satu common word. Semua agree on something. That COVID and then post-COVID teach as a country, you have to be resilient. Ya. Sebagai sebuah negara, kita mesti ada daya resilience. Kalau tengok Google, resilient ni terjemah dia daya tahan. Tak apalah, siapa nak kata daya tahan tu ambil daya tahan, but I will use the word resilient. Okay. Okay. So today in the next talk, I will focus about what does resilient mean, and what has the world learned from COVID. Okay. There is a book which I refer to this book as almost my reference for economics, because number one, written by 2 Nobel Prize winners. They won the Nobel Prize in 2018. So dia bukan menang Nobel Prize 1945, 1962. Dia menang 2018, baru dia menang. Dan dua-dua profesor daripada MIT. Minta maaf, dia bukan profesor daripada Universiti Utara, dia profesor daripada MIT. Dan penting sekali, dua-dua bukan Mak Saleh. Seorang daripada India, seorang daripada Puerto Rico. Although I think dia originally French, tapi Puerto Rico. And one is a male, the other one is a female. So I'm being very fair. Yeah. So I refer to the best write-ups of economic thinkers. And this is what they say, this is what we learn from COVID. Number one, when things are not so simple, which means that it is not like y equals x squared dy dx. Itu simple lah kan, Then you have to rely on the data. You cannot simply explain economics from first principles. This is the first lesson they learn. They say. Repeat, I cannot repeat, because we have to understand this. When things are not so simple, when the problem is non-trivial, first principle economics really don't work. You need to rely on the data. So that convinced me to become a data scientist. Okay. Second, very important, no growth formula can be copied. Kita tak boleh copy cara satu negara berjaya, kemudian kita buat di Malaysia. Semua data menunjukkan bahawa pendekatan itu gagal. Dia mungkin elok untuk 2 tahun, 3 tahun, tapi akhirnya dia akan gagal. Yeah? Okay, this is number 2, point number 2. Point number 3, it is not about technology, no engineering miracles. Dia bukan hari ni kita AI, kita akan jadi bagus. Kan? Besok kita IR 4.0, negara akan jadi maju. Yeah? Hari ni kita adopt ESG, besok rasuah tak ada kat Malaysia. It doesn't work. Copy paste don't work. Saya nak repeat lagi sekali. Copy paste don't work. The only formula that work is solving your own problems with your own resources and resourcefulness. Dan di situlah saya ambil maknanya pentakrifan apa yang dimaksudkan dengan being resilient. Tadi saya sebut bahawa semua pakar economics dan social scientist bila mereka maknanya mengupas isu COVID dan kemudian isu Ukraine, perbalahan antara US dengan China dan beberapa perubahan geopolitik yang saudara moderator tersebut, they say that the number one lesson every nation has to learn is to be resilient. So, but what does resilient mean? Okay, resilient means your ability to solve your own problems with your own resources and resourcefulness. Yeah. So itu yang saya ambil sebagai takrifan resilience. Otherwise susahlah kan. Resilient, daya tahan ni dia bukan mak kilau kan. Lawan peluru dengan silat dan kalimah la ilaha illallah dan hakikat dan makrifat kan. It's not that. Resilience is your ability to solve your own problems using your own resources and resourcefulness. Yeah. So bila kita cuba untuk menyelesaikan masalah, B is good enough. Kita tak perlu menyelesaikan masalah dan dapat A. Nak dapat A ni untuk MCE, nak dapat scholarship, nak pergi luar negara, okey lah 10 A1, 10 A2 kan. Yeah. But in real life, B is good enough. Yeah. Si COVID, dan this important saya nak explain. Bila berlaku COVID, kita akan tengok negara macam Malaysia blur lah kan. Blur sebelah-belahnya lah kan. Because we decided that the best thing to do is to copy paste. Okay. Orang kata lockdown, kita pun lockdown. Orang kata lockdown sekali, kita pun lockdown 2 kali. Okay. I look at the data and I use very simple mathematics, for those who know network graphs. Okay. So I use the data, I combine with network graphs. And network graph say that actually you perlu lockdown satu je daerah kat Malaysia, Petaling, where I stay lah. You lockdown Petaling cukup, you solve the COVID problem. You don't have to lock down the whole country. Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, what we are saying is that we have to be resilient by using our own resources and resourcefulness to solve our own problems. Yeah. So ini penting lah sebab mentality copy paste ni terlalu kuat dekat Malaysia, terlalu kuat lah. Yeah. So you almost don't have original thinking kat Malaysia. So yang ni kalau nak ambil quote, boleh ambil quote daripada saya. Setelah 65 tahun merdeka dan ribuan rakyat berpelajaran tinggi, rakyat Malaysia wajib yakin boleh selesaikan masalah sendiri. This is what I mean by being resilient. Yeah. Okay. Nanti kita go through some ni. Okay. So bila kita kata to be resilient is to solve problems with your own resources. So first we have to identify what are the problems that face Malaysia. Saya dah sebut isu Ukraine and everything. We face the ripple effect. And we are not directly impacted by Ukraine nor the crisis between US and China. It's all indirect impact. And if we look sincerely to Malaysia, actually this is quite a boring country. I will repeat dalam my conclusion. Boring country maknanya kita ni, we don't affect other people, and when things happen in other places in the world, we are only affected a little bit. So kita bola sepak pun tak bagus. Tapi kita nangis lah bila Manchester United kalah ke, Liverpool menang ke. So Liverpool play so far away and Malaysians get excited, But Malaysian football is nothing, it's no news. Okay. Sekali-sekala dapat menang lawan Thailand is big issue lah. Okay. So to move forward, we have to know what are the problems that we face in our country. So first we start with what are some of the core economic issues and world problems. This is the list. Saya tak perlu nak baca list lah. Kan? And then kita tengok what have gotten worse after COVID. Whether livelihood, social cohesion, mental health, cyber security, debt crisis, digital inequality. Real lah, digital inequality kat Malaysia ni is real. Ada orang kena panjat pokok dekat Sabah, ada kena panjat bukit lah apa semua kan. So it's real lah. So things have gotten worse after COVID, dan kalau kita tengok tahun 2022, these are some of the global risks. Okay? Sekali lagi tak perlu nak baca sangat lah. Okay? So kita kena kita lihat bahawa sebahagian besar daripada risiko dan masalah yang dihadapi seluruh dunia ni juga dihadapi oleh Malaysia. Kita ada inequality, especially between urban poverty and then the urban rich. We have lack of faith in government. Kerajaan gagal, kita tak percaya kepada kerajaan, kan? We have a very very polarized society, kan? Islam liberal, Islam Melayu, kemudian you Wahabi, you apa ni yang mazhab totok, sekarang ni you geng selawat. Itu kalau agama lah. Dan kalau politik, dia ada dia punya own polarization, and then race polarization, and so on and so forth. So we are actually a very polarized society, and we have a chronic problem with foreign workers. We like to engage foreign workers for cheap labor, and we like to engage foreign workers as consultants. So kita dua-dua kita suka. Kerja susah pun kita suruh, kerja buruh pun kita suruh foreigner buat, kerja susah pun kita suruh foreigner buat, kan? Yang programming lah, yang consulting lah, semua kita buat. Yeah. We lack self-sufficiency in a few critical areas. We don't know which way the country is going in terms of its growth direction. But compared to everywhere else in the world, we have a very serious problem on corruption. Our corruption is endemic, and later on I will show you some data which I have, but that show that we are so corrupt that we don't know that we are so corrupt. Okay. Then we have a serious problem with copy-paste mentality. Really, we have a serious problem with copy-paste mentality. Kita dah kata dah, maknanya to be resilient, able to solve your own problems with your own resources and resourcefulness. Copy-paste actually don't work, and it will hurt you in the medium term, and will hurt you in the long run. Yeah. Okay. So important to know that moving forward, despite all the crises, Ukraine, COVID semua, we have to move forward. Kita ada choice, saya tunjuk dalam gambar Raja tadi kan. Okay. See, we have a choice. We can harp on the old issues, or we can move forward. And all countries that face a crisis and decided to move forward, almost all of them were successful. Vietnam is a good example. Yeah. Now Laos, Cambodia, they all grew after the Indo-China crisis. They used to fight each other in very kata orang inhumane ways, kan? South Korea, we mentioned the example of South Korea, and a few other countries, they decided to move forward, and they are okay, kan? So we also have to make a choice whether we want to harp on the old issues or move forward. Okay. Okay, jadi untuk move forward, a few things important. Kalau kita melihat data mengatakan bahawa tidak ada magic growth formula yang kita boleh copy paste. Minta maaf saya sebut banyak kali kalimah copy paste because I really think this is a serious problem kat Malaysia. So, but data studied by 2 Nobel Prize winners, they published this book. They said that if you look at the data does not support any magic growth formula. But these are certain things you must do to avoid hyperinflation. You can avoid, kan? Itu dia ada jihad lawan inflasi tu. jihad lawan inflasi. Make sure that your exchange rate is not purposely overvalued. Yeah, don't follow the model of communism like the Maoist or the North Korean model. I'm not saying that we should copy communism, but they say these are extreme things that if you avoid this, then you should be okay. Kalau kita ada idea sendiri bagaimana hendak membangunkan negara dan membangunkan usahawan kita dengan sendiri. Ya. Oops, sorry. So data does not support growth formula dan okay, kita put forward. Then actually the World Bank commissioned another Nobel Prize winner to study. Yeah, is there a growth formula that the World Bank can use and then recommend to other countries? So 21 experts, they came to the conclusion that tak ada. No formula from one country can be copied by another. All you have to do is to learn, adapt and create your own formula. Sebab tu kita lihat Dr. Mahathir, dia cuba copy dasar pandang ke timur. Dia tak malu Dr. Mahathir ni dia bukan tak malu macam Najib kan. He was not ashamed to say that he's going to copy Korea and Japan. And he told all of us, the whole country, pandang ke timur. Dia pandang ke timur dan dia copy. Berjaya ke tak berjaya? Jawabnya tak berjaya. Kemudian dia follow Thatcher dengan Reagan, privatization. He really copy Thatcher and Reagan. Despite dia suruh pandang ke timur, dia copy Thatcher dengan Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan yang promote privatization. Berjaya tak? Tak berjaya juga. Yeah? So you cannot copy the formula from one country and then expect to be successful. Dia tak ada. Okay. Now, engineering miracle, does it work? Kita semua move towards direction of AI. Malaysia akan menjadi negara yang maju. We solve all our problems. The answer is no. Again, this is all based on data. Engineering miracles don't work. But that doesn't mean engineering don't work. Engineering work, but don't expect it to create miracles. Okay. So it is not also about the latest technology or trend, but using what is available to solve your own problems. Macam saya sebut, trickle down economy. This is what Reagan dengan Thatcher believe. Privatize, create many rich people, and then these rich people will employ you, and because of that, the economy will trickle down. It doesn't work. Yeah. This is based on data. They have studied data throughout all the countries, and anyhow they won a Nobel Prize. So it didn't work. Yeah. So again, kita nak repeat problems aggravated by COVID. Satu, kita ada problem oleh sebab COVID. Kemudian berlaku banjir. Okay. Jangan lupa berlaku banjir. Kemudian berlaku Ukraine. Kemudian inflation. Kemudian US naik interest rate. Oleh sebab US naik interest rate, US dollar meningkat. Dan sekejap lagi bank negara akan naikkan interest rate. Kalau you ada loan dengan bank, tak kira lah you Islamik ke tak Islamik kan, you will suffer. Okay. So we have learned that no magic solution from one country can be copied by another country because the magic was not sustainable even for the successful country. So we have to solve our own problems. And dekat Malaysia, sama ada negara sendiri ataupun individu kat Malaysia, we don't have $400 billion cash like Apple, in which kita boleh cubalah apa-apa yang kita nak. So we are limited in our resources. Yeah. Okay. Jadi tadi saya sebut copy paste ni is endemic lah kat Malaysia, kan? And I really want to take this opportunity to hammer this point, kan? Copy paste is endemic in Malaysia, just like the corruption is endemic. Copy paste is also endemic, and hopefully soon we will get now COVID is endemic. So we like to follow trends. Orang ISO kita pun ISO, orang IR 4.0 kita pun IR 4.0. Orang kata United Nations SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, kita pun SDG. green, so we all go green. Now AI, now the ministers are talking about ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And what is evident? We see that ada je AI roadmap, kemudian ada SDG roadmap, IR 4.0 roadmap, ESG roadmap. See, the universities, they are also copy paste. When people say publication important, ranking important, so dia bekerja lah. Nak naikkan ranking, nak banyakkan publication. I just did a search. These are the top automotive universities in Germany. They are, most of them are located in dalam the automotive clusters kat Germany. Stuttgart, University of Dresden. Ranking dia orang rendah daripada Universiti Malaya. Okay? Tak adalah rendah sangat, tapi rendah daripada Universiti Malaya. But Universiti Malaya tak keluarkan Mercedes. Universiti Malaya ni tak keluarkan BMW. These are the universities that support the German industries that produce BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, bus, kemudian you mention lah. Okay? So there is a difference, when you decide to copy paste. Orang kata you kena tinggikan your ranking, so kita pun tinggikanlah ranking. You kena banyakkan publication, kita pun banyaklah publication. But we are not able to solve the problems, and the reason being, we don't like to think in terms of problem and solutions. With one notable exception. What is the exception? Jihad melawan inflasi. Itu saya, walaupun dia tak percaya kan, but I like the approach. Okay, inflation is a problem. So kita kena berjihad lawan inflasi. They really do a good job, I'm not sure, but at least adalah problem solving thinking. Ada problem solving thinking. Alright. So tadi saya sebut tentang copy paste is endemic kat Malaysia, dan we say corruption is also endemic kat Malaysia. Kan? Yang ni data that that I have access to, kan? Tapi I tak boleh share lah. These are those who receive some form of bantuan daripada kerajaan, BSH, dia consider B40, tapi dia ada BMW yang berdaftar bawah nama dia. Yeah. There are few thousand of them. Dia terima BSH, tapi dia ada BMW berdaftar bawah nama dia. Some of the BMW 2019, 2020. That was the data that I looked at when I was working in the government, So, does the government know about this? No, they don't know. They don't know. Because they work in silos, so they don't know. Okay, This is the same kalau kita tengok this misallocation of resources. The one you tengok kat atas tu, mean income by state. Ni data daripada DOSEM. Dia baru buat dia punya banci. This is mean income by state. Number one is wilayah dan Selangor dan sebagainya. This poverty rate by state, Sabah, Sarawak, Kelantan and so on. Yang bawah tu is the B40 recipient by state. The highest is Selangor. Okay, then you may question, patutnya divide by population. So that's what I did. I divided by population. I plotted on the right hand side. See, Sabah is on the kat bawah. Dia negara yang paling ramai orang miskin. Tapi dia juga negara yang paling kurang mendapat bantuan B40 per capita. Yang paling tinggi Kedah. All of them are above the line. And Sabah is not. Why is this misallocation? Government tahu tak pasal dia tak tahu. That's why I say they are corrupt, they are inefficient, but they don't know how corrupt they are and how inefficient they are. This is a cartel beef import. So, Singapore dia tak ada beef, but they import from 35 countries. Kita punya beef requirement more than Singapore. We only import from about 6 or 7 countries. India lah yang banyak kan. Kemudian one company dia import a lot lah. Kan? Government tahu tak? Dia tak tahu. Sebab data ni data daripada government department lain. And nobody analyze this data to know ada cartel ke tak ada cartel. Nobody analyze. Because they are not interested to analyze. That's why I say they are so corrupt, they are so inefficient. They don't even know how corrupt and inefficient they are. Yeah. Okay. So in summary and conclusion, saya nak sebut Malaysia is not an important or dangerous country in any aspect. So apakah Malaysia ni negara yang penting? Jawabnya tak. Apakah Malaysia ni negara yang bahaya? Jawabnya tak. So nobody actually care about Malaysia lah. Kalau you rasa CIA ni nak monitor kat Malaysia, they are not too interested. Okay. So how do I learn from this? I read international news from 5 portals every day, except for the weekend. Weekend I baca portal lain every day, to know what happened in the world economy, because I have my money invested in the US stock market. I know about oil prices. I know about what happened in politics. I know what happened in economy. I know about what are the products, what are the technology trends. I know a lot, because I have to decide what to do with my money. The biggest recent news that the world cover on Malaysia only related to 2. Satu, 1MDB, which we are very famous for. And then satu, we have a Prime Minister who is 90 years old and he became Prime Minister 2 times. Itu je. Yang lain tak masuk news lah. Tak masuk news. Okay. So we as a country, we cannot affect or influence others, but will many times be affected or influenced by others. Okay. I want to underline the 4th point. Our problems are mainly self-inflicted. Okay. Walaupun saya I follow world news and I follow developments in Ukraine, but I find that the problems in Malaysia are all self-inflicted. Yeah. So to solve our problems moving forward, number 1, we have to build a resilience capability, ability to solve our problems using our own resources. And nanti saya nak kaitkan ini dengan usahawan. So no copy paste. Start with be great solution first. But we cannot move forward if we don't solve our corruption problem. Yeah. See, why is all this important? Why is all this important? Resilience, ability to solve problems with your own resources. Because I'm sure quite a large number of the audience, Ikram, you all believe in this concept of rahmatan lil alamin. I'm very certain. And it is correct to believe, okay? But we have to understand what rahmah means in 2022. So when I wrote this book in 2017, I asked that question. Apa maksud rahmatan lil alamin pada tahun 2017? That was my question. Okay? So and I read the books of the old scholars. Masalih, mafasid, gerbak-gerbuk. I think it is next to useless because it cannot answer my question. I read from Imam Shatibi, I read from Ibn Ashur, I read in Arabic, I read in English, and unfortunately I don't read in Malay. Okay? I found that the old scholars, they define rahmah based on their time. So if you want to understand rahmatan lil alamin in 2017, 2018, you have to define it in the language of 2017, 2018. Okay? So I developed a model, a practical model of rahmah. It is all based on one concept, which is problem solving. And then I found many hadith, and I'll share with you one of these hadith that echo the meaning of rahmah is to solve people's problems. So if you cannot solve people's problems, then you tak berlaku rahmah. See, a good example is somebody he owe you money, so that's his problem. He has debt, so you forgive his debt, so you are solving his problem. Okay. Your problem is that you sin with God. Okay. Then you ask forgiveness from God, and so God forgive you. So God has solved your problem. Yeah. So I found a modern meaning of rahmah, and I'm not apologetic about it. It is a modern, it's useful for today. I'm not saying the old definitions are useless, but it is for the old times. Then I found many hadith that support the so to speak, modern meaning. So I created a model and so on and so forth. So to even imagine that you want to be able to create a society based on rahmatan lil alamin, you must be able to solve the country's problems, the society's problems, using your own resources. That's why resilience become a very important concept moving forward. And this is being echoed by all the top economists and social scientists since I followed their discussions in the COVID years and now moving forward. So what to do? Tadi saya dah sebut, for many things, this is the best time to start if you have not started. Kalau you belum pernah menjadi usahawan, this is the best time to start as a usahawan. If you have not been investing in stock market, this is the best time to invest stock market because the whole stock market has come down. If you have not been in property, this is also a good time to be in property because the property market is down. Almost every market is down. Okay, so this is really opportunity. If you want to move forward, this is really an opportunity. Okay. When you want to move forward, you must always have financial independence in mind. Jadi saya bukan sebut tentang rich, menjadi kaya, tapi saya sebut tentang menjadi financially independent. So I learned this because, sorry to say, kita banyak WhatsApp group kan. Ada saja maknanya kalau, I tak tahu lah kalau ikram ni kan, minta sedekah untuk ni, sorry for the word sedekah, minta donation untuk ni, donation untuk ni, donation. So I'm asking myself, 2022, this, I've been about 50 years in the Islamic movement. Still, the Islamic movement rely on donation, yeah. So important. I want to talk about this Airbnb story. Okay, then I will finish. Okay. Tadi saya katakan, this is the best time to start if you have not started as an entrepreneur, for example. This is the best time to start as an investor if you have not started as an investor. And many other things, yeah, because there are so many problems and the problems offer so many opportunities. I have this story about Airbnb. During Ramadan, I have a small apartment, and the agent approached me and said a Bangla want to rent my apartment. So I said, no, I will not rent to Bangla. It's not that I'm prejudiced against Bangla, but I will not rent to Bangla because I doubt that he can pay. Okay. So then the agent insisted, dia kata, Dr. Azman, Bangla ni lain sikit. Dia nak guna apartment Dr. Azman ni dia nak run Airbnb ni business. Saya ni tercengang tau. Bangla duduk kat Malaysia. Dia kerja sebagai handyman dekat apartment kompleks tu. Buat kerja-kerja buruh kan. Bersihkan tu, bersihkan ni, angkat tu. But he found out that he can rent from people like me and then operate Airbnb. So he rented from me for 600 ringgit. That's a small unit. Okay? The first month he got rental 2,000 ringgit. Then I asked him, berapa unit dia ada? Dia kata dia ada 4. I mean, this is a Bangla who come here, work as a labourer, but got the brain, to start an Airbnb business with zero asset. He has no asset. And I'm very certain he will use some name on the Airbnb that sound non-Bangla lah. And he has 4 units, each earning about 2,000 a month. That's 8,000, no? So he is technically T20. He is technically T20. And he don't own any property. So that's what I'm saying. See, COVID, Ukraine now offer opportunity. If you haven't started, there are many ideas to start. Yeah. So I will not talk about the stock story. So moving forward, you as a usahawan, this is a good time to start a business different from the business that you have been. And if you are in business today, I'm very certain most of you are struggling that like me. But I sold my business long time ago. So now I'm in the stock market. I still struggle in the stock market, but I'm in a profit margin, except that my profit is a lot less than before. Okay. Okay. Now, as if you Ikram, okay, how do you make a difference in today's world? Okay, how do you make a difference as an Islamic movement in Malaysia? Very specific. Okay? First, pick any non-trivial problem. Urban poverty, that's a non-trivial problem. Okay? Uh, really, it is a non-trivial problem. Urban poverty. Focus on helping to solve urban poverty problems. Then you will shine as an organization. Okay? And I preach the same thing to political parties. I advise some people in PKR. Moving forward, if you focus on solving the people's problems, you can win the next election. Not necessarily, surely you will not get two-thirds majority, but you will win. Why? Because you are solving people's problems. Okay? And non-trivial problems are not easy. Tapi kalau kita berjaya untuk menyelesaikan masalah, dan kita boleh 65 tahun merdeka, berpuluh ribu PhD kita ada. And I have studied the main problems in Malaysia. You don't need PhD to solve. Some of the technical details you may need, but overall bachelor degree cukup . Dan bachelor degree pun tak perlu first class daripada Oxford nak solve. Yeah. I give you a good example. I want to end with this. Sorry. When we were in the government and they wanted to do the subsidi bersasar, targeted subsidy. Okay, the project was spearheaded by MOF, but we were the implementing ministry. So tender semua kita tak buat lah. So MOF buat tender untuk ni. So macam-macam orang propose sistem kan. So yang menang tu about 35 million for the first year, overall about 50 million. Okay, 50 million. So I look at the problem. Okay. As I say lah, I look at the problem. I'm a IT expert. I look at the problem, then I started to read. Okay. Then I found a book from Cambridge University, published in 2018, The Politics of Fuel Subsidy. I read the book twice. Then I came up with a solution that we can do this project with no cost. We don't need the 35 million. There is a very, very simple way to do this project. So the simple way is just to transfer the money into the people's bank account. And then therefore the solution is, do people have bank account? I went, we called Bank Negara. Bank Negara kata the bank account penetration rate in Malaysia is 92%. Then Maybank kata they have a new system, Maybank anywhere, everywhere. They boleh they can allow people to open bank account with zero balance. So we solve the problem. Jadi if you think about the problem in an original way, you tak perlu IT, tak perlu engineering, banyak tak perlu. Okay, so that's why I say pick a non-trivial problem. And kalau you ikram, kalau you are entrepreneur, there's a different approach. And then try to solve problem using your own resources and your own resourcefulness. Okay. So saya akhiri di sini. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Dr. Azman dengan pengulasan dan cerita panjang lebar, very in-depth, broad. Dan yang saya boleh pick up di sini sebelum saya buka kepada soal jawab yang kita mungkin beri masa 15 minit lagi. Mungkin saya lihat tadi Dr. Azman kata di Malaysia ni implikasi terhadap ekonomi negara kita sedikit sebab kita cuma menerima ripple effect daripada masalah di Ukraine dan Rusia. Tetapi saya nak komen sikit, mungkin apabila kita membaca banyak artikel sekarang ni, masalah tu dah merebak, masalah Ukraine Rusia ni dah merebak ke Germany, Eropah, EU. Dia tak ada gas, tak cukup, harga gas naik harga. Jadi contohnya kilang toilet tisu tutup sebab gas mahal. Um, Greenhouse yang tanam vegetable pun tutup sebab gas mahal. Barang-barang yang dia nak produce pun tak cukup, lebih baik dia import. Dan Europe akan face recession. Everybody says that the recession, the next world economic problem will start from Europe and then US and then Japan and everywhere else. So mungkin sekarang ni ripple effect dan tidak banyak menjejaskan masalah ekonomi negara kita dan lebih kepada masalah-masalah dalaman negara kita sendiri daripada implikasi daripada luar. Tapi mungkin masa-masa ke depannya mungkin kita kena buat satu lagi seminar nanti. Bila ripple effect tu mungkin jadi waving effect, ada wave.
The ripple get bigger, itu je.
The ripple get bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
So sekarang ni dengan komen ni saya nak buka kepada soalan. Ada 8, there are 83 participants I see, quite a good response. Mungkin saya boleh buka soalan-soalan yang boleh ditanya kepada Dr. Azman dalam bidang. Kalau saya baca di sini, Doktor boleh baca ya?
Boleh.
Yeah, I think if you can read it and then you answer it. I can see it on the screen.
Okey lah, soalan pertama tentang Turkey punya stock exchange, kan? Saya tak familiar dengan Turkey punya stock exchange, kan? But dia depend on your mode of investment. Important depend on your mode of investment. Kalau you are technology like me, okay, then I have only one place to invest lah, which is Taiwan and United States. Okay. Okay. Tapi kalau you dalam commodities, okay, you dalam other areas, so Turkey may be a good market for you. Okay. Alright. So is it a good market? The answer is it can be a good market. So every stock market can be a good market, but depend on your flavor of investment. Yeah. Of course, Turkey, I very strongly encourage lah. Strongly encourage. See, kalau you tengok negara Islam ni tak boleh lari. Dia ada 4 paksi. You cannot run away. Yeah. The first paksi you like or you don't like is Egypt. Okay. Because it is the axis for North Africa. Second paksi, you suka tak suka, Saudi Arabia. Okay, because it's the paksi for the Gulf. There's no Gulf country that is bigger than Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Third, you ada Nusantara. Nusantara tu kita boleh bincang lah ya. Siapa patut jadi paksi Kuala Lumpur ke Jakarta kan? I think the answer is very clear kan. They are less corrupt and we will become more and more corrupt until we change things, so they will overtake us lah. Then you ada the Russian belt. This one paksi dia ada Turkey. Yeah. So if I were Islamic movement like Ikram, I make sure I have a good foothold in Turkey. Okay. And kalau you nak ada good foothold from economic point of view, you must understand the stock market. See, the stock market dengan economy is related. See, the modern economies, stock market and economy is related. Bila ekonomi menurun, stock market pun akan turun. So kalau you as a Islamic movement, you want to be present in what matters in the Islamic world, you must have a presence in Turkey. If I have 2 souls, one will be in Malaysia, the other will be in Turkey. I can confirm you. But at my age, I have only 1 soul. To have another one, so it's beyond my physical capability. Alright. So it is a good market and I sincerely encourage lah kalau ada orang yang berani take. Seperti mana saya sebut, if you haven't started, this is a good start to start.
Soalan kedua, Doktor. Mungkin Doktor boleh baca juga.
Dia dekat dalam chat tu.
Dalam chat. Okay, kalau saya bacakan. Salam, saya nak bertanya tentang masalah food security. Okay. Bagaimana kita sebagai individu di Malaysia boleh counter masalah ini?
Okay, the food security, the answer is not so very obvious. Answer is not so very obvious. So, we have to decide on 2 things. Yeah. what aspects of food that we want to make sure that we are secure. Yeah. So the obvious answer is nasi. Okay. Now, or beras. Now we are only about 70%, and we have to import 30%. So is 70% good enough? The answer is yes, because we eat too much rice. So we can educate the society to eat less and less rice, so the 70% we may become sufficient. Okay. Plus, okay, who eats the most of our rice? Ask this question. Who eats the most of our rice? It is a 3 million low-cost foreigners that we bring to country. Look at how much rice the Bangla eat. Or if you go to the Mama Store, look at how much rice the Mama eat. It's like a hill, Okay. And the rice is cheap because we subsidize. Okay. Okay. So there are because I studied this rice industry. See, 70% is a good start. It is a good start. But the way we structure the pricing of the rice and the way that we distribute, we just encourage the foreigners to eat so much of the rice. Okay. Now, this is one. The other thing is that should we grow or should we not grow? Okay. So it depends, because you have to look at two things: economies of scale and the cost of production. You nak tanam beras dekat Selangor, harga tanah mahal. Yeah. So one option is to do reverse investment. Okay. The country invest in paddy fields in Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, and then you get the supply. So I learned this a lot because when I was in Doha, Qatar, Qatar invested in some paddy fields in Kerala. So they have a secured supply of basmati rice. So they don't grow any rice in Doha, Qatar. So now they have a secure. So it is a balance between reverse investment and making sure that the way you structure the price of your food, okay, dia tak ada ketirisan, dan kebanyakan daripada ketirisan ni go to the 4 million or 5 million foreign workers.
Kita pergi soalan sekali lagi pasal broad money. Saya tak faham sangat broad money ni, apakah printing of money ni. Soalan saya, adakah oversupply broad money, 95% of money supply is in the form of broad money, adakah ia menyebabkan inflasi yang tak terkawal?
Okay, it's very clear that first of all, as I said, that kita ada United States, okay, as a country that dia ada option untuk technically we call print money. Print money maknanya they can reduce their interest rates, kan? And then people can borrow money for very cheap. Not to say, and at one time the interest rate was slightly just above zero, yeah, because there is demand for US dollars, yeah. So now they face a problem, the US, because if they really face inflation problem, then Federal Reserve kata that they will not stop increasing interest rate until they solve the problem of inflation. So 75 basis point, another 75 expected in December, to continue in 2023 and 2024. So US memang dia akan naikkanlah dia punya interest rate, dan Malaysia akan suffer. Yeah. So kita punya room is too limited because of our borrowing is also very high, dan kemudian kita ada the ripples of the 1MDB problem. Kita nak borrow duit untuk buat kerja lain pun dah almost limited, because we almost reach the 65%, 70% of GDP dan segalanya. Yeah. So clearly the direction of the US dollar is that dia akan naik, okay, with regard to ringgit. Dan kemudian apa negara akan buat? They will have to do the necessary adjustment. Kalau dia tak nak 5 ringgit to the dollar atau 5.50 to the dollar, dia punya only option is to increase the interest rate kat Malaysia. Dan people will suffer lah, kan? That's why I say, kan, okay, these are all macroeconomic issues. And see, macroeconomic, is it important or not? The answer is it is important. Yeah. But what is more important? Kan? Are you able to solve your own country's problems in your own way? Yeah. So not all the problems that we face are related to inflation and to interest rate. Not all. And we have many problems that we can solve, and dia tak perlu, dia bukan kata tak perlu, dia will not be impacted so much by some of the macroeconomic factors. Okay.
Next soalan doktor, lebih kepada ni BRIC menggunakan, tidak mau menggunakan BRIC countries, tidak mau menggunakan US dollar, nak gunakan currency lain. Apa impactnya kepada transaksi ekonomi dunia?
Okay, the answer to that question quite simple, kan? You see, I still have account in Kuwait Finance House. Yeah, I give you an example, Kuwait Finance House. So I nak transfer money from Kuwait Finance House in Malaysia to Kuwait Finance House in Kuwait, ringgit to KWD, Kuwaiti dinar. How does the process work? This is how it works. KFH Malaysia must transfer the money from ringgit to US dollar using an exchange either in the United States, okay, or in Europe. Kalau United States, the exchange is in US dollar. Kalau Europe, the exchange actually in euro. Then the exchange in euro or United States has to transfer to KFH in Kuwaiti dinar. So ada dua kali tukar, ringgit to US dollar and then US dollar to KWD. Boleh tak tukar direct US ringgit to KWD? The answer is no. Okay. So this is how much the US and Euro stranglehold on the world economy is. You almost cannot transfer money until you use the US as dia punya intermediate exchange rate, or Euro as the intermediate exchange rate. And for all practical purposes, it is US. Yeah. So should we challenge the system? The answer is yes. But today you start to challenge, they will fight you. Okay. So until you are more resilient as a country. So sebab tu saya kata, maknanya COVID has taught many countries, and now the BRIC countries, China, Russia, Brazil, India, thinking of using their own exchange. Yeah. Is this possible or not? The answer is very, 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 very possible. Is it easy to do? The answer is, based on today's technology, is very easy to do. Okay? It's just a matter of you nak buat ke you tak nak buat, and then you have to put the team together. Maybe I think in 7 months or 8 months you can get it done. Okay?
Ada beberapa question ini pasal gerakan Islam. What are the non-trivial problems and the low-hanging fruits that gerakan Islam boleh bagi fokus dan beri priority? Sebab doktor banyak sebut gerakan Islam tadi kot. Ini ada soalan selain daripada finance.
I have no doubts lah. Yeah. Look at the problems the society face. Yeah. So real problem dekat Malaysia that nobody look at from a holistic point of view, because they don't know it is actually a real problem, is urban poverty. Okay. Low hanging fruit, I'm not sure, good, but it is a real problem. Okay. It is easier to solve than you try to solve dependence on foreign labor. That one you as ikram susah you nak solve kan. But urban poverty is very, very doable. We learn during COVID and banjir that if the rakyat put their resources together, they can solve problems. They don't need the government.
Okay. Doktor, next question, apa komen doktor tentang Indonesia being a bigger country, and is the impact on the ummah is bigger over there rather than Malaysia? And what is our participation?
In 1998 when I went to Indonesia after the fall of Suharto, right? I told a few brothers that if they stay this path, okay, in which they have a genuine objective lah, to become less corrupt. Okay? I'm not saying they are corruption free. First of all, they have a general interest to become less corrupt. More and over a period of time, because the way they reform their election, they get better and better leaders. Okay? So I said in 1998, within 20 years they will overtake us. So today is 2018, kan saya betul. See, now they are a G20 country, which means that they are the G20 country lah, which means the top 20 economies in the world. Yeah.
Okey, Doktor. Saya rasa kita pergi kepada soalan terakhir. Banyak lagi soalan-soalan ni, mungkin saya tak boleh ni. Doktor nak berhenti kan? Atau nak open pada soalan ke? Boleh?
Okay.
Ya, okey. Okey dah. Okey, kalau begitu saya extend lagi 5 minit lagi ni. Maknanya saya pergi kepada next soalan yang lebih relevan pada topik yang kita bincangkan ini. Dia tanyakan, sahabat kita tanya, adakah inflasi di Malaysia akan naik lebih tinggi dan berpanjangan? Semenjak kemerdekaan, pernahkah Malaysia mengalami stagflation? Jika kita ditakdirkan mengalami stagflasi, apa patut kita buat as individual and as a country? You are an economist also, Doctor. You can answer that.
Okay, okay, first of all, I'm not an economist. I study economics from a data perspective. Okay. So in that sense, I'm a practical economist now, and I study economics to understand what to do with investments and so on and so forth. Okay, I think it's very, very clear. We have to separate between two things. Yeah. First of all, inflation. Okay, harga barang naik. Okay. Kedua, barang itu available ke tak available. Dia ada two things. Harga barang naik dan barang tu ada ke tak ada. Okay, maknanya harga telur naik, telur tak ada. Okay, two separate things. You have to. Because I faced before when I was in Doha, Qatar, that for 2 weeks there was no eggs. Tak kira how much money you have, but simply there's no eggs for 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. So boleh tak kita reach a situation that some of the barang dia tak ada? Jawabnya yes. Because there are many things that we practically we import everything. So for example, we don't grow our own onions, Will there come a time in which tak ada bawang? Possible. Okay, Okay, now, but inflation, you can say, you take for granted lah, inflation is going to happen. Okay? Inflation is going to happen, you can take it for granted for the next 6 months, it's confirmed. In the US, they tried to fight, they almost couldn't. And they have to raise the interest rate just to cope, to dampen the rate of growth of inflation, which they, for the first time they did, they were not successful, so they have to do it again. Malaysia akan follow suit. Itu je.
Doktor ada sebut tadi, if you have 2 life, you want to live 1 life here and 1 life in Turkey, and then somebody may be interested to ask you about Turkish inflation 80%, how do Erdogan managing it? Are they going to be okay?
You see, the issue dengan Erdogan ni is he took a decision which is he must know the reasons why, okay, to openly fight what he want to fight. Okay, so they fought him back lah. United States fought him back. Alright. So again, you kena bezakan dua perkara. See, harga barang naik dengan barang tak ada. I think Erdogan is quite certain that the important things the country has. They have enough wheat, they have enough pomegranate, they have enough sheep and cattle and milk, they have enough. Okay, so it is important, because inflation does not last forever. See, if you study the history of economics, inflation don't last forever. Yeah? Recession don't last forever. Okay. But you will survive if you have enough resources.
Okay. Okay, Doktor. Saya rasa kita ambil 2 masalah lagi. Satu lagi Second last question yang saya nak buka di sini ada tanya pasal cryptocurrency. I think you must have a good opinion on cryptocurrency. And the last one is on corruption in Malaysia. How do you think you want to solve it? Can we solve it? So dengan dua soalan ni, Doktor,
I think the
mungkin
first question, which is easy, yeah. So cryptocurrency, is it real or not? The answer is it's real. Okay. So you invest in cryptocurrency, the risks are higher than a lot higher than investing in more physical assets. Invest in property, you invest in stocks. Like for example, I pemegang saham Google. Okay. Okay. So I feel confident because it is a good company. I'm a shareholder of TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. This is the most advanced semiconductor manufacturing company in the world. So my investment, I can see what it is for. Did I invest in crypto? Yes, I have some Bitcoin, I have some Ether, I have some Ripple. Okay. But I think that if you want to invest in crypto, you have to understand the use cases of the specific currency, of the specific crypto. Okay. If you understand the use case and you believe that the use case can grow, then I think it is fair for you to invest. But if you want to trade, today buy, tomorrow sell, mana beli pukul 7, pukul 8 jual, that one up to you. Okay, it is a high risk game and high octane, high risk game. Not for me. Okay, not for me. So, but should anybody shut off completely from crypto? I think it's quite stupid to do so, because it is real. Soon it will become more real. See, when the use cases, see for example, macam saya sebut kan, today, if you want to do exchange different from SWIFT, sekarang orang pakai SWIFT kan to exchange, then your fastest option is cryptocurrency. So when India, China, Russia get together and announce some form of cryptocurrency that they will do to help them do the transaction, then it is done, and that's the cryptocurrency that if you want to buy, it's worth doing, because I think that's the option they will take. Okay, how much they announce, we have to wait lah. Okay, last tentang corruption. How to fight corruption? Actually, first you have to change the government. You tak boleh harapkan. I pun tak tahulah nama kerajaan sekarang, BN ke PN ke, I don't know. You cannot hope for this government if you want to fight corruption, because they are not interested to fight corruption. They are not interested. Yeah. But let's say kalau you tukar government and the new government coming, is there a way to fight corruption? The answer, yes, there are many ways. Okay. See, the one agenda is open digitization, which means you share data in public. So senang lah, kan? Senang, you nak tunjuk siapa kartel, siapa tu, dia sekejap je. Okay? So tak perlu orang dia kata whistleblower nak bagi tahu, because the data is there, the open. And so it is actually not so difficult lah to fight corruption, but you must have the political power that is really keen to fight corruption. Alright.
Doktor, mungkin dah we arrive to our end. It's already nearly 1 hour and 1 hour and 25 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Azman Hussein. And I would request, Doctor, for the benefit of the latecomers tadi tu, you put back the slide of the books that you have written in your profile. While that I think is very important, who you are, what you were doing, what books you read, because I think many people, after listening to what you're saying here, are very broad-based and very in-depth information on many issues, not necessarily isu dunia, but also isu-isu dan masalah sebenarnya di Malaysia ni. Dan sebenarnya Malaysia ni, we are just receiving the ripple effect of the geopolitik dunia. Mungkin masa ke depannya mungkin a bigger ripple, and then maybe we organize another webinar macam ni.
Okay.
So Well, with this screenshot, Doctor, in the screen, mungkin because we have 88 participant, at least our late friends yang datang boleh tengok buku-buku yang Doktor tulis, dan insyaAllah it's I've not been able to read all. I just glance through a few of them, Doktor. But terima kasih kita ucapkan pada Dr. Azman Hussein, advisor kepada minister sewaktu kerajaan dulu dan juga mantan CEO SSM, dan mudah-mudahan insyaAllah kita dapat berpeluang satu masa hari nanti kita organize lagi apabila ada isu-isu berbangkit untuk dengar pada doktor lagi. Terima kasih Doktor, dan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.